This is a video about Orgone Therapy. Somebody requested it, and I wanted to know my personal experiences with it. Basically, my interest in Wilhelm Reich began in the mid-90s. I stumbled across his work via Anton LaVey because I had a fascination and interest in the occult, and Wilhelm Reich's name kept popping up. So I started reading Wilhelm Reich's literature. First, I think I read Function of the Orgasm, and then Character Analysis, and then Listen Little Man, Mass Psychology of Fascism, Murder of Christ, Ether, God, and the Devil. And I was so in awe by Wilhelm Reich's work that I decided to undergo Orgone Therapy. Now, I was living in Phoenix, Arizona at the time, and the closest Orgone therapist was in Seattle, Washington, other side of the country. So, I packed up my shit and I moved down there, and I underwent Orgone Therapy, bio-psychiatric therapy, vegetative therapy, whatever you call it now, under the supervision of Dr. Daniel Schiff. He now practices out of Portland, Oregon. And I went out there. It was $90 a session. That was a discounted rate. It was usually $120, but he knew I didn't have insurance and I was paying out of pocket. And I went about 2 to 3 times a month for 2 years. And then I was released as being deemed healthy. But basically a typical session was this. You would go in there. He had an office like on the back side of his house, so I'd drive up to his house in Seattle. I lived in Renton, which is a suburb, and I'd go in there, walk to the back, ring the doorbell. He'd open the door, and then he'd have 2 chairs, like, just a few feet apart, mano a mano, face to face, and we'd sit there and talk just like this, straight face to face for about 5 minutes. And then you would undress down to your boxers, and you lay down on a kind of like a bed, a couch, whatever. And he would sit behind you, and he would make you do breathing exercises for about 5 minutes. Deep breathing, exhale, deep breathing, exhale, breathing exercises for about 5 minutes. And he would observe the way your body reacts. And then you would normally start talking about whatever. He would ask you questions, you'd answer them, and you usually roll into stuff. I mean, it was real traditional psychoanalysis at that point. But he would also, at certain times, he would get up and he would press hard on certain parts of your body, usually your chest or your back or your stomach, on your musculature, to try to loosen the musculature armoring. And it was weird because it really works. The way he did it, it really works. By manipulating those muscles and talking about certain things, certain memories would come up and certain feelings would come up that I wasn't aware of or were beyond my control. And there's really something to it. I'm glad I went through it. But that's typically what a typical Orgone session or biopsychiatric session consists of, is breathing exercises, typical psychoanalysis, muscle manipulation, to help release those pent-up and blocked emotions and loosen that character armoring. When I went, I was originally diagnosed as just having, superficial musculature armoring. It wasn't anything severe or chronic, and it was easily dissolved during therapy, I guess, if that's what you want to call it. And that's basically what my experience was.